Hello student, good morning. I hope you all will be safe and sound. As we are discussing in the history and in the previous video, we have discussed mainly about how the states in our country were formed on the basis of language. As we came to know, the first state of our country which was formed on the basis of language on 1st of October 1953, that is Andhra Pradesh. After this one, they have given here the planning for development. For getting the development of the country, which sort of the plans were made by the Indian government at that time. So what they have given, see over here, lifting India and Indians out of poverty and building a modern technical and industrial base were among the major objectives of the new nation. For the new nations, for new nation mean to say here for India, the main aim, the main objective means to say the main aim, that is for lifting the condition of country, to improve the condition of the country, and as well as to remove the poverty and building a modern technical and industrial base. These were the main aim of our country when we got the independence. In 1950, the government set up a planning commission to help design and execute suitable policies for economic development. So for on the same region, for on the same purpose, the Indian government has established the planning commission. On 15th of March 1950, the planning commission has been formed by the government of India. And now if you take the example of planning commission now, by 1st of January 2015, its name has been changed. Now it is known as the Niti Commission, National Institution for Transforming India. The name has been changed from 1st of January 2015. And by setting up this particular planning commission to implement the suitable policies for economic development, for the economic development, so this planning commission has been formed over there. There was a broad agreement on what was called mixed economy model. So as well as we have just adopted not the capitalism nor the socialism, so we have just adopted here the mixed economy model of our country. Both can be, that is capitalism will be there and socialism as well as over there. So this model has been adopted by us, that is mixed economy. Here both the state and the private sector would play important and complementary this one roles in increasing production and generating jobs. Here they have given, means here in this one mixed economy, in this one model, so both the state as well as the private sector, the individuals who has set up the many industries at that time, so they can play a vital role for increasing the production and generating the jobs in the country. What especially these rules were to be, which industries should be initiated by the state and which by the market. It means to say here that whatever the production, whatever the industries were set up at that time, these were mainly should be initiated by the state, and by which the market how to achieve a balance between the different regions and states. Mean to say by setting up, by making the developmental programs, so there is a need and there should be, the state must make a balance in each and every region of the country, was to be defined by the planning commission, and it was defined by the planning commission which was set up at that time. In 1956, the second 5-year plan was formulated. The first 5-year plan that was initiated in the year of 1951, and its main agenda to increase the production in the agricultural sector. And by second 5-year plan, its main objective to invest and to increase the development in the industries. So they have given here about the 56, that is the second 5-year plan. It was formulated, and this focused strongly in the development of heavy industries such as steel and on the buildings of large dams. As I have already told you, mainly it focused on the industries. So this whatever the budget was passed during this plan, it was mainly for the industries. Then these sectors would be under the control of the state. And these sectors mainly, it could be under the control of the state. The state government can play a role for constructing and for developing these industries in their own states. This focus on heavy industry and the efforts of state regulation, the economy was to guide economic policies for the next few decades. Then after this one they have given, so mainly these 5-year plans, whatever the 5-year plans were being introduced here, so it mainly focused during that time in the heavy industries, to construct the heavy industries, and the effort at state regulation of the economy was to guide economic policies for the next few decades. It means to say, if these industries will be developed, these industry will be constructed in a particular state, so definitely it will help to economic growth of the particular state as well as for the country. This approach has had many strong supporters, but also some vocal critics. So although the government wants to do the growth in the particular regions and area, but most of the people, they were just supporting it, and some, they were having the vocal critics against these all the things. And here you can see Nehru on the 5-year plans, what he told. So here that has been given. Then after this one, even one thing, let me tell you about the Planning Commission. It is headed by the Prime Minister of the country. At present, it is, as I have already told you, it is known as the Niti Ayog, Niti Commission. So it is headed by the Prime Minister of our country, that is Narendra Modi. Then some felt that it had put inadequate emphasis on agriculture. Some of the critics, some of the members, some of the people of our country, so they told, so we have not given the adequate attention towards the agriculture. Others argued that it had neglected primary education. Some others, they were telling that means the India should focus on the primary education. Mean to say, they told India is not focusing on the primary education. Still, others believed that it had not taken account of the environmental implication of economic policies. So these all of the critics were given by the different philosophers who were there at that time. Then, as Mahatma Gandhi's follower, Mirabai wrote in 1949, by science and machinery, he, that is mankind, may get huge return for a time. So, one of the follower of the Mahatma Gandhi, name they have given here, that is Mirabai, he wrote one of the, book over there, that is Science and Machinery. In this one, he just focused on the technology. And with the help of this technology, we can earn a huge return for a time. But ultimately will come, that is dissolution, and we have got to study Nehru's balance and develop our lives within her laws, if we are to survive as a physically healthy and morally decent species. Here, the different leaders, they have given their different views over there, as they have given the views here about the Nehrus, that he told, if we have to survive, if we wanted to survive as a physically healthy and morally decent species, so we must make a balance between both the things, that we have to develop each and every sector in our country. That means to say. Then after, they have given the search for an independent foreign policy. So here you can come to know about the foreign policy of our country, how the foreign policy that has been initiated by the country. Then the nation 60 years on. As now we have already just passed 75 years, the book is old, that is why they have given here 60 years on. So from 1947 to till now, whatever the time we have spent, so how much we have gone for the development, that thing has been given, and which sort of the things are still remaining as undeveloped in our country. On 15th of August 2007, India celebrated 60 years of its existence as a free nation. How well has the economy done in this time, and to what extent it has fulfilled the ideals set out in its constitution? So for this question, the answer has been given that India is still united, and that is still democratic, are achievements that we might justify be proud of. As we have adopted in 1947, whatever the ideas, whatever the form of government we have adopted, we have united at that time, and the democratic form of government is still, this is in our country, and still it is remaining the same. If you take the example of the other countries, so although they have adopted, but that has been also overthrown by the others powers, others outside powers. But in India, it remains same. That is a matter of proud for each and every Indian. Many foreign observers had felt that India could not survive as a single country. Many of the observers from the outsiders, maybe they may be the foreigners, so they believed that, they felt that India could not survive as a single nation. But still we are just united together, and we are just living within the same country. here that it would break up into many parts, with each region or linguistic group seeking to form a nation of its own. But others believe that it would come under the military rule. Some others, they have also told that India could come under the military rule. However, as many as 13 general elections have been held. If you take the example, to till now, 17 general elections have been conducted in our country. And these were conducted in a smooth manner, in a proper manner, and these elections have been held since independence, as well as hundreds of states and local elections have been conducted in our country. Then there is also a free press, that means the independence of the press. That is media, it is totally free, as well as an independent judiciary. As we have already read in the civics about the independence of the judiciary. So judiciary is also independent. Finally, the fact that people speak different languages or practice different faiths has not come in the way of national unity. However, whatever the things, as here we know the different people, they are speaking the different languages from the different, they also practice the different religions. So even after that, it doesn't just influence the unity of the nation. One, on the other hand, deep divisions persist. These division means whatever the deep divisions, it persisted. Despite constitutional guarantees, the untouchables, or as they are now referred to, the Dalits, face violence and discriminations. As you all know that during when we have implemented the constitution, at that time also some of the rules that has been made by the untouchables, it has been banned. Still, this practice is being done. Today, these are known as the Dalits who face the violence and discrimination. In many parts of the rural India, they are not allowed access to water sources, temples, parks, and other public places. As you all know that, this thing is still in the rural areas, in some of the interior part of our country, still this practice is being followed, and where these are not allowed to do whatever the things they have given here. Then, and despite the secular ideals enshrined in the constitution, whatever the secular ideals has been written in the Indian constitution, there have been clashes between different religious groups in many states, as we all know. Means, as well as there is also the clashes, there is also the some kind of the debates, some kind of the riots. These used to occur in our country still on the basis of the religion. Although we are secular, but still some of the religious groups, they used to clash with each other. Then after they have given here, above all, as many observers have noted, the gulf between the rich and the poor, the gulf means the gap between the rich and poor, has grown over the years. As you all know that the rich is becoming more rich, the poor is becoming more poor here. This gap has been also somewhat more, it has grown. Some parts of India and some groups of Indian have benefited a great deal from economic development. As they have given here, that some parts of our country, mean to say some of the parts, some of the groups of the Indian, they have benefited great deal for the economic development. Means in the some of the areas, only the development has taken place, and very few people are taking the benefit of it. They live in the large houses and dine in expensive restaurants. Okay, as we all know that, which areas are posh areas which have been developed, so they are living in the huge houses, in the palaces, as well as they are just also spending a huge amount of money in the restaurant, send their children to expensive private schools and take expensive foreign holidays, etc. That has been given. Some of the society, some of the wealthier sections of our society, they are just living a luxurious life, mean to say. And at the same time, many others continue to live below the poverty line. At the same, so some of the people in our country, they are living below the poverty line, housed in urban slums or living in the remote villages on lands they yield mean to say they produce little, they cannot afford to send their children to the school. So they have compared here about both the societies, where one society is living a luxurious life, the another society which is hardly managing the 2 square meals in a day. The Constitution recognizes equality before the law. As we all know that, the Constitution, we all are equal in front of the law. So that has been laid down in the Indian Constitution. But in real life, some Indians are not more equal than others. Just by the standard it set itself at independence, the Republic of India has not been a great success. So here they have given about that whatever the standard of the people, they are being judged by it. So we mean to say in real life, this particular equality, the whatever the right and whatever the equality has been provided by the Indian Constitution, in real life, this is not being functioned properly. But it has not been a failure either. And we can't say the Indian Constitution, whatever the things has been laid down over there, so we can't say it is totally failed. Means somewhat it is working properly. Then after this one they have given elsewhere. Here you can know about the Sri Lanka. What happened in the Sri Lanka they have given, that is in 1956 the year of the states of India were recognized on the basis of language. As we all know that many of the Indian states at the initial time they had been formed on the basis of language. The Parliament of Sri Lanka, that is known as Ceylon, introduced an act recognizing Sinhala as the sole official language of the country. There, if you will go through the higher classes, mainly in the 10th class, this chapter has been given about the Sinhala people who are living in the Sri Lanka. This has been recognized as the official language of Sri Lanka. Then what happened over there? See, this made Sinhala the medium of instruction of all states, schools and colleges, in public examination as well as in the courts. The new act was opposed by the Tamil speaking, who were the Tamil speakers over there in the Sri Lanka. So it was very tough for them to just recognize the Sinhala language as an official language. And these Tamil speakers were in the minority who lived in the north of the island. When you deny me my language, said on one Tamil MP, you deny my everything. So one of the Tamil MP, member of the parliament in Sri Lanka, he told, if you deny my language, if you are not recognizing my language, that means to say you are denying everything related to me and my area. That means to say you are hoping for a divided, that is Ceylon, that is one, another adding, don't fear. I assure you that you have a divided, that is Ceylon. That means to say, whatever the parliament name mean to say, they were also demanding for a separate states for the Tamil speakers. Unne bhi kya kiya apne liye, the Sinhala people, when this thing happened over there, so they also demanded for a separate nation for the Tamil speakers. The same thing happened over there, which one just support by the others members. As opposing member himself, Sinhala speaking, that is predicted that if the government did not change its mind and insisted on the act being passed, two tall little bleeding states might yet arise out of one little state. So what he told if this act will be passed like this, only the official language will be the Sinhala, then what will happen over there? To torn little bleeding, means little bleeding means to say this little island will be torn into two. That will be tear. Tear means torn. Torn means to say it will be divided into two parts. And state might yet arise out of one little state. एक छोटा सा state तो है ही, छोटा सा country है, उसमें पीछे एक छोटा सा country और निकलेगा like this. Then other things they have given here, for several decades now, a civil war has raged in Sri Lanka whose roots lie in the imposition of the Sinhala language on the Tamil-speaking minorities. And the civil war, that is the war which is mainly fought within the country. The people, they fought themselves, the different faith and different religious and different speakers people. They used to fight. This war was fought within the Sri Lanka, inside the country, and this is just because of the same Sinhala language on the Tamil-speaking minorities. And another South Asian country, Pakistan, was divided into two when the Bengali speakers of the East felt that their language was being suppressed. By contrast, India has managed to survive as a single nation, in part because the many regional languages were given freedom to flourish. And if we are comparing our country with them, so the different languages, different regional languages, local languages are being spoken by the people. Still after that, even after that, the India is still united. And after this one, had Hindi been imposed on South India? In every way, the Urdu was imposed on East Pakistan or Sinhala on the northern Sri Lanka. So India might have been civil war and there is fragmentation, but the country that is contrary to the fears of Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Patel, linguistic states have not been threatened the unity of India. Whatever the linguistic states have been formed in our country, it didn't become a one kind of fear for our country. And it means to say, once the fear of one's language being suppressed has gone, the different linguistic groups have been content to live as a part of the larger nation called India. So here, as our leaders, whatever the work has been done by them, it was quite appreciable. Whatever the different linguistic groups were there, they have been content to live as a part of the larger nation by forming their own states. So this initiative had been taken, and by forming their states on the basis of language, they became the part of our country, which is known as India. This is all about the chapter they have given, and they have also compared with the Sri Lanka and Pakistan here. Then after this one, the question answers have been given, that we will discuss in the next one.